Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. I welcome you all to the workshop. And without much ado, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Dayanand Sansanwal for joining us today. And I would like to take this opportunity to hand over the stage to him.
Okay, let me at the outset express my gratitude to all those who are attending it, and I welcome you to this particular program. This will be the first program in the series of the research methodology, statistics, and use of SPSS. We will try to cover almost 95% of the research methodology, 100% of the statistics, and the use of SPSS. So now today I have decided that I will be talking on the basics, because if we do not understand the basics of the research, whether it is educational research or it is research in psychology or research in physics or research in Hindi or research in sociology, whatever it is. Although I have written it is educational research, but don't bother about the word education, it is research. So I will tell you the concept of the research, what it is, because there are a lot of ambiguities as far as the concept of the research is concerned. Then I will give you the definition of it. I will tell you the characteristics of the researches, and then I will tell you what can be the different types of researches that the people, if they want to conduct, they can conduct. Now, I am Sansanwal, and this is my email address. Anyone who is interested to communicate to me can note down this address and you can send me the question, no problem. So dear friends, I will be first telling you why do we want to do research? Why people all over the world in different disciplines are spending a lot of money, time in conducting the research. Why? This is important. Next, I will like to concentrate on what are the essential attributes of the research. The third thing I will like to concentrate is the definition of the research. I will give you the general definition, and then I will show how the general definition can be changed so as to fit in the other disciplines. So the specific definitions, and before that, before come to the last, I will tell you the characteristics of the researches, and last will be the types of education research. Those people who want to know in Hindi, I just take few seconds कि मैं सबसे पहले आपको बताऊंगा कि शोध क्यों करते हैं, फिर मैं बताऊंगा कि शोध की क्या क्या विशेषताएं होती हैं, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होती हैं, एट्रीब्यूट्स होते हैं, फिर मैं आपको शोध की परिभाषा बताऊंगा, शोध की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स बताऊंगा, और फिर शोध कितने प्रकार के होते हैं वो मैं आपको बता दूंगा. Now, see, why do we do research? I think I need not to explain much on it. You know, right at the moment, all of us are facing with a particular problem, and this problem is of COVID-19. And right at the moment, in the world, people do not have the vaccine for it. They do not know how exactly they should go ahead with the patient. Although the doctors are trying their level best and they are trying to save a lot of life, but still all those people who are affected by the COVID-19, they are not cured. So why do we do research? This is a very important thing that we should understand. Without the research, the population cannot move ahead, cannot flourish, cannot develop. So for development, for enhancement, for the progress of the human beings, we need research. And these researches will be in all the subjects. You can do research in languages because you want to move ahead in the language aspect. You want to do research in economics because you want to move ahead with that. So therefore it will be everywhere. Now, if you see the word research, I bifurcate it and say it is re plus search. That means you have already searched and you want to search it again. What does it mean? Suppose I have fever. Do you think there is only one medicine for fever? I'm sure you know, no. There are many medicine. Why many medicine? Because some medicine will suit to some people and some medicine will suit to some people. So if you have a problem and you find the solution of that particular problem, then that solution may fit or may benefit to the some people. But people like to have another solution which can help many people. So that is why people keep on conducting the researches. And the day comes that when you think now you cannot move ahead, then it means research comes to an end. But dear friend, that stage can never come, because once you start working, the new avenues will be open. So therefore, there are a lot of opportunities of doing research in different areas. So the research is a must for the benefit of the human beings, and research means you keep on finding new solutions of the same problem remains same, but solution changes. Now, I move to the next one, that what are the essential attributes? You know that just now I have said that you have to have a problem. If you are not encountered with a problem as a research scholar, then you will not be able to conduct a research. So researcher must have a problem. What is another word for a problem? Another word for a problem is variable. In Hindi, it is called char. So therefore, if you do not have a problem, then you will not be able to start doing your research. So if you do not have a variable, then you cannot proceed further. So the first important is that whenever you think of doing a research, you must know what variable, or you must know what problem on which you want to work, you want to do that particular research. So the one important attribute of the research is problem. Without problem, no research. So therefore, this is important. Once you have a problem, then you want to find the solution. And for finding the solution, you have to do some activity. आपके पास समस्या है और समस्या के समाधान के लिए आपको कोई ना कोई गतिविधि करनी पड़ेगी. So if you have a problem and you want to find the solution, then you have to do some activity. Very simple. If suppose a family member is not keeping quiet, is not keeping well, then the family member may either take the patient to the doctor, or the family members can call the doctor. Now the problem is that family member is not feeling well. There is something. Maybe he is having a fever, or he is having a headache, or he is suffering from some other ailment. That's the problem. What is the activity? That you either take him to the doctor or you call the doctor. That's the activity. And once doctor prescribe the medicine, another activity, go and purchase the medicine. Once you have purchased the medicine, another activity, you have to give the medicine to the patient as prescribed by the doctor. So in solving a problem, you have not to do only one activity, or you have not to do only one type of activity. You have to do many activities. And whenever you are doing these activities, you must know in what sequence can we do it. अगर आपको काफी गतिविधियां करनी हैं तो वो किस क्रम में की जाए. So therefore all activities have to be done in a particular sequence, and whenever you do anything in a particular sequence, then you can say you are following a systematic, or you are doing a systematic activity. I'll take example. If you have to take bath, then all activities which you will be doing, they are in a particular sequence. And whenever you have to take bath, you do all those activities in the same sequence. You cannot change the sequence. Okay, so this is important. When you want to brush, then for brushing teeth, you have to do activities in a particular sequence. And every time, whenever you brush your teeth, you do the same activities in the same sequence. So all these are systematic. If you have to wash your clothes, you do many activities. And those activities are again in a particular sequence. So whenever you have a problem, to find the solution of the problem, different activities have to be done. And these activities have to be in a very systematic, in a very scientific way. They cannot be haphazardly. You cannot do the activity the way you want to do it. No, this is not possible. Another is, whenever you are doing activities, then this is refers to the process. So whenever you do the activities, in that the process is there. When you are taking bath, it is bathing is the process. When you are brushing your teeth, brushing teeth is the process. When you are taking bath, that is the process. So there will be a process. And whenever there is a process, in that process, activities have to be done. And these activities have to be in the particular sequence. The sequence will differ from problem to problem. And then finally is, you arrive at a solution. So you have a problem and you do different activities, and these activities have to be done in the systematic manner, and that is a process, and it leads to the solution. These are the 5 essential attributes of the research. All these essential attributes are present whenever research is conducted. If you are doing research in languages, all the 5 essential attributes will be there. If you are conducting research in medical science, all the 5 essential characteristics will be there. If you want to conduct research in physics, again, all these will be there. So therefore, irrespective of the subject or irrespective of the discipline in which you want to conduct a research, all the 5 essential attributes will be there. There cannot be any other essential attribute of the research. And if these are the essential attributes, then you will understand that it is easy to define. Dear friends, all of you have studied noun. आपने संज्ञा पढ़ी होगी. The definition of noun was given by your teacher, and that definition is also written in the books. And sometimes you find that the definition of noun, people say that name of person, place, or thing is called noun. Dear friends, in this definition, the essential attribute is only name. Whether it is name of a place, whether it is name of a person, whether it is name of anything else. So the person, place, okay, these are non-essentials. So if you have to define noun, then definition must have only essential attribute. That makes you can say naming words or names are nouns. And once you say names are nouns, now it is easy for a student to understand it, and he will not be memorizing it by heart. Because most of the people, if they do not understand, they try to memorize. So therefore, if you understand, your memorization comes down. You need not to be afraid of it. Okay. Now with these essential characteristics, now I move to the definition. And the definition is research refers to a process. See, this was the first word, the process, wherein activities is another attribute, are carried out scientifically is another attribute, to find solution of the problem. So the process is one attribute, activities is another attribute, scientifically is another attribute, solution is another attribute, and problem is another attribute. So these 5 words, which were the essential attributes, now they are part and parcel of the definition. And if you analyze this definition, I am sure you will not come across any word which does not fit into this particular definition. So this is how, if you have a concept, then you must know the essential characteristics. And if you know the essential characteristics, then you can put them in the words. You need not to stick to the definition which is given by someone in the books. You can have your own definition if you understand it. Okay. Now, this is the general definition. And now I will be converting this definition so as to fit in different subjects. So I'll continue with it and I'll say the educational research. How do I convert that general definition so as to fit into the discipline of education? That educational research refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of problem related to any aspect of education. All those people who belong to education, then they know there are different aspects of education. If you want to work in educational administration, then you can have a problem related to some aspect of the educational administration. If you are working with some personality characteristics of anyone, then the aspect has to be related to that personality characteristics. If you want to do a research related to methods of teaching, then that may be another aspect of that. So this is how you can define educational research. Now let me go to another one, research in psychology. Research in psychology refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of the problem related to any aspect of psychology. You know, there are different aspects of the psychology. So therefore, this is how you can define the research in psychology. Let me take another example. If you want to define research in Hindi, then research in Hindi refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of problem related to any aspect of Hindi. You know, there are different aspects of the Hindi. And so therefore, if you are trying to do some research related to some poet or related to some prose or related to some other aspect of it, then you can take a problem related to that particular aspect and you can go ahead with your research. Let us see research in physics. Refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of problem related to any aspect of physics. In physics, there are different aspects. Okay, there is a nuclear physics, there is a solid state physics, there is electronics, etc., etc. There is sound and so on and so forth. So therefore, whatever is the aspect of physics which you want to take for your research, then you can define the research in physics the way I have done it. Please understand, whenever I am giving the definition, either it is in Hindi or in psychology or in education or in physics, the characteristics remain same. I have not changed any characteristics because these are the essential characteristics and they have to be there everywhere. In each and every research, you have to have them. So if you want to define the research in sociology, you can now define it. If you want to define research in home science, now it is easy for you to give a definition of research in home science. If you are working in management, then you can define research in management. So I am now closing the definition aspect. I have given you the general definition. Then I have modified the general definition so as to fit into a particular subject. And you can also do the same. Now I come to the characteristic of the research. In the beginning, I have given you the attributes of the research. And the same attributes of the research, if you put them in the sentence, then that sentence will become the characteristics of the research. But attributes remain same. Only the attribute has to be put in a sentence. One characteristic is that research is systematic in nature. And you remember that systematic was one essential attribute of the research. Research is problem oriented. You have to have a problem. If there is no problem, there is no research. So this is another characteristics. The third characteristics is it refers to a process, because you have to do different activities. And whenever different activities are done in a particular sequence, that refers to the process. If there is no process, there will be no activities. And if no activities, there is no question of any sequencing of the activities. So because it is systematic, or you can use the word scientific, those participants who are from science, if they do not want to use the word systematic, they can very well use the word scientific. So therefore, it refers to a process. And the fourth definition is it involves activities. Please understand, whenever you involve yourself in doing some research, it is not only one activity. You have to do many activities. So it involves activities. This is important. Sometimes some people say activity. That is technically incorrect. Okay, so it involves activities. And another is it leads to solution. So these are the 5 essential attributes which I gave you earlier, and each attribute is put in a sentence, and that becomes the characteristics of the research. If you are doing research in mathematics, the same characteristics will be there. There is no change in the characteristics. If you want to do research in history, the same characteristics. There is no change. If you want to do research in agriculture, the same characteristics. So irrespective of the subject in which you want to pursue your research, the characteristics will remain same. Okay, so I have given you the essential attributes. I have given you the general definition. Then I have changed that general definition so as to fit into different subjects. And after that, I have given you the characteristics of the research. Now I move to the next aspect of my today's webinar lecture, and that is how many types of researches. Although here I have written educational research, but do not bother, you can say types of researches. And all of you must be knowing that information will be of two types. If I ask you your name, then you will tell me your name, and this name will be qualitative. And if I ask you your age, you will give me numbers, that is quantitative. Where are you going? So you will say, I am going to USA. So this is qualitative. On which date will you go? I will go on 20th of December 2020. This is the information which you are giving, and it has some numbers. So therefore, information, whenever you have, it will be two types, and one is a qualitative information, and any research which has pure qualitative information will be termed as qualitative research. In languages, in philosophy, your complete information available with the researcher will be only qualitative. There will be no number. But if you want to do research in linguistic, then linguistic will have numbers. But if it is language, English language, Sanskrit, Hindi, whatever it is, then you always have the qualitative information. हिंदी वालों के लिए क्वालिटेटिव को गुणात्मक कहते हैं, और आप सबको मालूम है कि गुणात्मक जो शोध होता है वो हमेशा शब्दों में होता है, वो अंकों में नहीं होता है. सो वन वे टू लुक एट द रिसर्च इज ए क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च. Another is a quantitative research. Say if you do research in history, your majority information will be qualitative in nature, but sometimes you may have quantity, the numbers also. If you are doing a survey type of research, in survey you may have pure qualitative information and you may have pure quantitative also. So in survey it is both qualitative information and quantitative information for some of the variables. But if you are doing experimental researches, in experimental researches you cannot have qualitative information. It will be quantitative information. Now, whenever you have taken a test or you appeared in some exam, there was a question paper and you wrote the answer. The answer was qualitative. The examiner, after reading the question and the answer which you have written, and if this question carries 10 marks, the examiner, after reading your answer, if he gives 6 marks out of 10, then the examiner has converted the qualitative information into quantitative. So a qualitative information can be converted into quantitative. But The quantitative information can never be converted into qualitative. That means the examiner who has given 6 marks in the answer of a particular question, if you ask the same examiner, okay, please repeat the same answer in which you have given 6 marks out of 10, then you will find that the examiner cannot verbatim reproduce the same answer. Yes, he can write another answer of that question in which he may be given 6 marks. So with this example, now I have tried to explain that you can convert your qualitative information into quantitative, but from quantitative information, you cannot get back your original qualitative information. That means when you convert a qualitative information into quantitative, there is a loss of information. And therefore, I will suggest those researchers who want to do qualitative research, they should keep on collecting qualitative information and move ahead with the qualitative information and do the qualitative research. Those who want to do a quantitative research, they can keep on doing, analyze the quantitative data and go ahead with their research. Because this quantitative data cannot be converted into qualitative, so there is no danger. But the qualitative data can be converted into quantitative, that is the danger. So as a researcher, you have to decide before you move ahead with your research whether you want to have qualitative information and do a qualitative research, or you want to convert this qualitative information into quantitative and you want to do a quantitative research. But nevertheless, the researches can be classified broadly under 2 heads. One is qualitative research, other is quantitative research. Any subject you take, if you want, either you can conduct a qualitative research or sometime you can conduct both qualitative as well as quantitative. But you have to take a decision whether you want to do a qualitative or quantitative. And dear friends, I like to bring to your notice that qualitative information cannot be mixed with quantitative. And similarly, the quantitative information cannot be mixed with the qualitative information. So mixing is not possible. It is either you are going ahead with your qualitative information and do a qualitative research, or you go ahead with your quantitative information and do a quantitative research. If these are the 2 types of researches, then on what basis can we differentiate them? I hope you can guess now that it is the nature of information or nature of data or type of information or type of data. Either your information is qualitative or it is quantitative. Either your data are qualitative or quantitative. So if the base of your research is the nature of information, then you will always say that researches will be of two types. One is qualitative research and another is a quantitative research. You cannot give another type of research. But if you change the criteria, the base of classification, then the type will change. Now I move to the another type of the research. If you want to study the vision or idea of any person, you know Mahatma Gandhi, you know Rabindranath Tagore, etc., etc. These people have their vision, a very clear-cut vision. And whenever you have a vision, and if you want to study the vision of that person, then you are doing a philosophical research. If you see, the Mahatma Gandhi had a vision that he should have the freedom for India. And so therefore he started working, and after that, then he came to another one, that how the people of India should be educated, what education should be given to them. And you know, at that point of time, lot of institutes, lot of schools, they were started, and they were based on philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, educational philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. You know, Vishwa Bharati is based on the philosophy of the Rabindranath Tagore. So therefore, if you have a philosophy, you can follow it. I'll take simple example. Each political party has a manifesto, and the manifesto reveals the philosophy of that particular party. You take the political party of any country, and you will find that yes, they have a manifesto. Whenever they are for the election, then they say, if we win, we will do this, and we will do this, and we will do this. So the people beforehand, they will know their vision. So therefore, the philosophical researches are to be conducted in order to study the vision. In science also, there is a philosophy of science. So do not think that philosophy is only there. There is a philosophy of science, there is a history of science. If you want to study something which has already passed, then we are talking about the historical research. Whatever happened in 2020 from January till yesterday, it's all history. Whatever is happening right now will become history. Any event that has passed, that has moved ahead, so therefore is a historical research. You can conduct lot of historical researches, that during English period, how the business strategies were adopted, what was the accounting system during British period. When you are trying to study all this, it is a historical type of researches. So the information which you get will be available only in the documents, in the reports which are available. So whenever you want to study anything which has already passed is a historical research. You can do historical research in medical science, in pure sciences, in languages, in any subject you can do, because you can say that how the people, those who were there earlier, they were thinking about it, what type of society they wanted to have in India. If you read the Premchand, you will find that when you read Premchand, you know what was happening during that particular time. If you want to study any problem in the present context, will be a survey research. If you want to find out how the people are feeling in COVID-19 period, at present COVID-19 is going on, how people feel about it. If I want to get information, I have to do survey. The survey researches will be primarily of three types. One is exploratory research, which O and GC people, they keep on doing, or geology people, they do exploratory survey. Whenever a businessman wants to establish a factory, and then before deciding the place, he gets the survey done. Because during the survey, they want to find out where the land is available, where the manpower is available, the electricity available, the water available, the road available, the track is available, etc., etc., the raw material available. So therefore, you try to do a survey. Another can be a descriptive survey. If somebody is visiting Bombay for the first time, that person will go to see different places of the Bombay. Because when he comes back to his place, people will ask him about Bombay, and since he has gone and he has seen the places, so he can describe very easily. Another survey can be correlational survey. That means whenever a researcher is interested in finding out the correlation between the variables. Dear friend, correlation is a technical word. Another technical word is association. Survey research can also be done where you can analyze your data by computing associations between variables. But in the literature, because correlational survey word has entered, otherwise it should have been relationship survey. Because relationship can be correlation or it may be association. So surveys will be of three types. One, exploratory survey. Another is descriptive survey. Another is correlational survey. If, as a researcher, you want to conduct a research, and once you find the solution, then that solution can be used only for the future. And whenever, right at the moment, lot of pharmaceutical scientists, they are conducting experimental researches. Now, once they come out with a vaccine and they say, yes, this vaccine is safe and it will help the patient in curing, then and only then you can use it. So this vaccine is coming out of experimental research. So that is why the outcome of the experiment will be used in the future only, because in the present it cannot be. Another is, if you are studying something which has a very special characteristics, then this we call it a case study. In management, they do a case study as a method of teaching they are using. They describe a particular industry which is in loss, and they analyze and try to find out why this industry is in loss, whereas the other parallel industries are earning. So therefore, they keep on doing that type of research. So what you can do, that type of method they use it is a called case study method. Now, as a researcher, you can take a case and then you can study it. I'll take one example. In Maharashtra, in Latur, in that area, many agriculture people have committed suicide. Now you can start studying why have they committed suicide when the nearby people have not committed suicide. So what is the special thing because of which people committed suicide? Say case study. The case study research can be of a one individual person. If you want to do the case study of Amitabh Bachchan, you can do because of his special characteristics. If you want to do the case study of Tendulkar, you can do because he was a batsman and therefore, a very nice, his history. So the case study, because these are the people who are at the top. So, and the case study can be done. So case study research can be of an individual, can be of an organization, but it has to be considered as one. Can be of a village, it has to be considered as one. So therefore, the case study researches are also done, but important point to be kept in the mind is that whatever the findings that you have from the case study research, these findings cannot be used for generalization because these are very, very specific. So since they are too specific, so therefore you cannot generalize it. This is one of the drawback of the case study research. And some people, they do case study research for their PhD, but some of the examiners, they do not consider it of a very high quality because the benefit of the case study research will not be there. So these are the 5 types of researches, and if you see, the base of classification is the methodology followed. When you are doing philosophical research, is a different methodology. When you are doing historical research, is a historical method. When you are doing survey research, is a survey method. Survey method is very different from historical method, very different from philosophical method. And whenever you are conducting an experiment, you are doing experimental research and you are using experimental method, the experimental designs, and so on and so forth. Dear friends, earlier I have said that basic researches falls under 2 categories. One is a qualitative research, other is a quantitative research. If you see the philosophical research, it's pure qualitative in nature. If you see the historical research, it is majority is qualitative, but some will be quantitative, some part may be quantitative. In survey, you may have qualitative as well as quantitative. In experimental research, you have all quantitative. Qualitative will be very little. And case study, you have both qualitative and quantitative. So they overlap. But when your base of classification of the research is types of data or nature of data, then you have to use the word qualitative research and quantitative research. But if the base is methodology or procedure followed, then the type of researches which you will say will be philosophical research, historical research, survey research, experimental research, and case study research. But the first one, qualitative, quantitative, and this, they overlap. This is very important, dear friends. But the moment you set your base, then you can differentiate them. And the another type of the research is, which is the last part of my lecture, today's lecture, is called basic research or fundamental research or theoretical research. Whenever people do research in physics, so some of the researchers, they say, I am doing theoretical research. But some researchers may say, I am doing experimental research. So the theoretical researches will be there, and these theoretical researches will be in many subjects. They will be there in physics, in chemistry, in botany, in geology, in economics, in management, etc., etc. So the theoretical research is, say, whatever the Newton did, the Newton's laws of motion, these are applicable all over the world. So whatever the theory that you have in psychology, you have the Piaget theory. It is applicable all over the world. So whenever you have a theoretical research, its utility will be very wide, utility will be there. Some people call it basic, some people call it fundamental, but all these, they refer to the same. The another is, some people, they say that I am doing applied research, or some people may say I am doing experimental research. So in science, the people do theoretical research and people do experimental research. And you know, whenever you do experimental research, I'll take example. The mobile is the outcome of experimental research. Now, if you take the mobile where your SIM card is for India, with the same SIM card and same mobile, if you go outside India to Australia, your mobile will not work, because this SIM card restricts your movement, restricts your area of use. Now, I'll take another fan. In India, we use 220 volt. And if I take this particular fan to Germany, it will not work there, because in Germany they have 110 volt. So if I can upgrade that from 110 to 220, then the fan will work. But for that I need I need one more equipment, and if I do not have that, then it will not work. So any research finding which will be there from the experiment one, they have limited utility. Okay, now the medicines which comes, the same paracetamol in India and the same paracetamol in Canada, the name may be the same, but their constituents are different. So you have to see, if you are trying to come out with a medicine for a particular country, then you have to have that medicine as per the specification of that country. I hope you are reading the newspaper. Some time back, there is a pharmaceutical company in India. It is near Devas in Madhya Pradesh. Now, they have come out with the medicine, and they sent this medicine to US. Their samples were returned back because the quality parameters of the US, they are very different than what we have in India. So therefore, this particular company could not sell that medicine in their country, in US, but the same medicine is being sold in India. That's fine, nice. So that is what experimental research. So the main difference between theoretical research and experimental research is the utility of theoretical research is much wider than the experimental research. There is one more research which is not in all subjects, but it is there in some subjects, like action research. Action research means that, suppose I have fever, and if I take one medicine, and if another person is also has a fever, can I give the same medicine to that person? And the answer is no. Because the fever which I have may be because of something else, and the fever which that person has may be because of something else. So therefore, when you give medicine, it has to be specific. A medicine given to one family members, the same medicine may not be given, may not be used by another member of the same family. So therefore, action research has very, very, very limited utility of their findings. Suppose I am teaching research methodology, and some of the students of my class, they are not understanding the hypothesis testing. Some have no problem in understanding, but some are not able to understand. So therefore, I have to think of another way of teaching the hypothesis testing to this group of students, because my earlier method was not very helpful to some students. So when I start doing that, and I find another way of teaching to such type of students, when I do that, I'm doing an experimental research, and this is not experimental, this is action research. Because the finding cannot be generalized. So the whatever action research findings are, they are only to be applied, only to be used in that particular situation. They cannot be extended to another situation. So therefore, the utility of theoretical research is the widest one. The experimental research have lesser utility, and action research have very, very limited utility. So these three types of researches, the base can be the degree of utility, or you can say degree of applicability. And the theoretical researches are pure qualitative in nature. The experimental researches are quantitative in nature. The action research is also a experimental type of research, but only the difference is the findings of action research cannot be used for generalization. But action research, the moment you take some action, that means something has to be done, and that is what is experiment. So now you can say that your researches, you can classify them under three different categories. One on the basis of nature of data, another on the basis of methodology, and the third is on the basis of degree of utility or degree of applicability. Now this comes to the end of my lecture. Now, before I end, I want to give you two questions. Think about the answers, and if you want to share with me, you can share, or if you want to share with your friend or your teacher, you can do that. The question is, which of the following word does not indicate the characteristic or characteristics of research? The one word is problem, another word is constant, another word is solution, another word is unsystematic, another word is process, another word is activities. So amongst these, you have to find out which do not indicate the characteristics. I hope the participants have noted this particular question. And just now I have given the characteristics, so you can very well answer this question. And it's a new type of question which I have developed. Normally, multiple choice type of questions are such that there is one question and there are 4 alternatives or 5 alternatives, and out of that only one is correct. But during this time, I thought, why should there be only one correct answer? Why not more than one? So the question in front of you. The second question is, an activity is said to be done systematically where A is probability of success is unknown, where the probability of success can be anything, the probability of success is maximum, the probability of success is minimum, the probability of success cannot be determined, the researcher is sure about the finding of the research. The researcher's finding matches with the findings of earlier researches. Now, these are the different alternatives, and you have to find out which one is systematic. An activity is said to be systematic, so which of these is the definition of systematic activity? So these are the two questions. Try your hands on it, and if you get the correct answer, that means you have benefited from the today's lecture. Now here I come to an end, so therefore thank you very much. Any question you want to have, please go ahead with it. And if you want to note down my email address, you can note down once again and you can send me. Over to the organizers.
Connect me. Adin, please connect me. Hello. Adin, please connect me. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are live now.
Hello.
Hello, sir,
Hello.
you are live now.
Oh, actually, sir is not here.
Now I'm here.
Okay. Actually, one participant is asking to me, ki, what is mixed method?
Method, my dear friend.
ये
Because
रामाश्रय वर्मा हैं देवघर से, देवघर झारखंड से, ये पूछ रहे हैं कि what is mixed method?
are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Say there is nothing like mixed method because you cannot mix the philosophy with history. You cannot mix the qualitative with quantitative. Dear friend, this is a misnomer and you have to be very careful when you plan for a research. Either the research which you have to have is qualitative or it has to be a mixed research.
Hello.
Another question.
Sir, one another guy is asking that what is ex post facto research?
Ex post facto.
Hello,
Muted
I'm
me, yaar.
audible.
Yes. See, ex post facto research means that right at the moment the government has lot of schemes for the migrant labor. Now, once this scheme is put into action and once this scheme continued for some time, then and only then this scheme can be studied. So ex post facto means you first apply and then you study. So first of all, the scheme has to be implemented for some time and only after that you can study. For example, midday meal. So midday meal has to be first implemented and only after that you can study it. So that is the meaning of ex post facto. Another question.
सर ये डॉक्टर सदामा है नीपा से, डॉक्टर सदामा अफसर ये पूछ रही हैं कि यहाँ देर आर ए 3 वर्ड्स इफेक्ट, अफेक्ट एंड इम्पैक्ट इन रिसर्च.
Yes.
What are the definitions?
Yes. See, when you say effect, it means it has to be an experimental study. Because without giving some treatment, the researcher will not be able to talk about its effect. Impact. Whenever the government scheme is there, there will be the impact of the government scheme, because the area covered will be very large. So any government scheme, if you are particular case, you can use the word impact. Now, NEPA doing lot of researches where they collect the information from different states about some policy. So whenever they are doing that, in that case, they can use the word impact. Otherwise, they should not use the word impact. Now, influence is only in case of survey. Say when two people are together, they are influenced by the presence of the another person. So in survey research, you can use the word influence. So I summarize that in experimental researches, you can use the word effect. In survey, you can use the word influence. And in ex post facto researches, where the government scheme are to be studied, then you can use the word impact. Another question.
जी सर। सर कुछ लोगों को पूछना ये है कि नाउ डेज प्रेजेंट टाइम में कौन सा हमें चूज करना चाहिए, क्वांटिटेटिव या क्वालिटेटिव, या कौन सा ऐसा रिसर्च ट्रेंड है जो प्रेजेंट टाइम में ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है?
Actually, let me tell you, क्योंकि there are many subjects where the people may not be able to
जी
do experiment. For example, in languages, for example, in history, for example, in philosophy. There are many subjects where it is not possible that you do experiment. So therefore, experimental researches, although are the most important, most useful, but they are not applicable in all subjects. So therefore, I'll say wherever the experimental research can be done, then people must do experimental research. They should not do survey research. But otherwise, you do any research, the utility will be there of all types of researches. That's my answer. Another
सर
question.
हमारी एक ऑडियंस है, वो हमसे पूछ रही हैं, डॉक्टर पारुल सिंह दिल्ली से पूछना चाहती हैं कि हमारे यहाँ मैनी रिसर्चेज हैव डन एट इंडिया, और बट व्हाई वी डू नॉट थ्योराइजेशन, हम थ्योराइजेशन क्यों नहीं कर पाते हैं?
Okay.
हमारा रिसर्च वर्क पूरा हो जाता है और इसके बावजूद भी हम कुछ थ्योराइज नहीं कर पाते हैं। अगर एक रिसर्च कैंडिडेट से पूछा जाए कि उसने सोसाइटी को क्या दिया या उसने एकेडमिक वर्ल्ड को क्या दिया, तो वो कभी कभार खुद भी बता पाने में बिल्कुल अनेबल होता है। वो नहीं बता पाता है कि उसने क्या किया है, या तो वो कैलकुलेशन में अटक जाता है, या तो वो काउंटिंग ऑफ पेजेस में फंस जाता है। वो ये नहीं बता पाता है कि उसने अपने रिसर्च के थ्रू एकेडमिक वर्ल्ड या सोसाइटी को क्या दिया। तो हम
Let
थ्योराइजेशन क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे हैं अपने रिसर्चेस से? जी
tell you, dear friends, number one, whenever you do that, you want to theorize from one particular research, the theorization is not possible. The theorization is possible only and only when large number of researches are conducted, and if there are large number of findings where there is a consistency in the findings. If large number of researches have been conducted, but there is inconsistency in findings, so you cannot do the theorization. theorization in India is not possible because the people have not conducted large number of researches related to a particular variable, and there the findings are not consistent. So there is no consistency in finding. So the important is for theorization, consistency in findings is important. So because of that, we are not able to do it. Another question.
Sir, what is triangulation concept in research? ये प्रतिमा गुरंग is asking from Central University of South Bihar.
Actually, this the name itself suggests that you are collecting data using 3 different tools, and this is normally done in order to see whether the responses which are coming from the responder, there is a consistency in the responses, or when I collect the data through the interview schedule, and when I collect the data through the, say, questionnaire, the same question but responses are different. So in triangulation, we try to collect the data from 3 different sources only to make sure that the genuine information comes. That is the utility of doing that.
सर विजुअल आर्ट से एक रिसर्च स्टूडेंट है एंड शी इज आस्किंग दैट कि how we implement scientifically way in the area of visual art. How we implement scientifically way in the
Yes,
area of visual art.
yes, I have. See, you do research in any way you like, in any area, in any subject. You have to have a problem. So in visual arts also there has to be a problem. If the researcher is not confronted with the problem, he cannot proceed further. So for that particular problem, he has to do some activity, and these activities have to be done very systematically. So therefore, even in visual arts or even in any other one, all the 5 components of the research, they are applicable. So therefore, in visual arts also they will be applicable. Go ahead.
सर एक क्वेश्चन और भी बहुत ही स्ट्रेंज आया है. इनका कहना है कि कंट्रोल एंड एक्सपेरिमेंटल, ये कहते हैं कि साइंस में तो इट इज पॉसिबल दैट कंट्रोल इज कंट्रोल, एक्सपेरिमेंटल इज एक्सपेरिमेंटल, बट अगर हम ह्यूमैनिटीज की बात करते हैं तो वहां कंट्रोल हम कहते हैं वी से नॉर्मली, बट दैट इज नॉट कंट्रोल. कहीं ना कहीं वो कुछ ना कुछ लर्निंग प्रोसेस में है. तो जहां हम साइंस में मॉइस्चर को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, टेम्परेचर को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, एयर को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, बहुत से ऐसे वेरिएबल हैं जो हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर वो ह्यूमैनिटीज की बात आती है या ह्यूमन की बात आती है तो वहां हम कहते हैं लेकिन कर नहीं पाते हैं. आर यू एग्री विद मी?
नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
जी.
I can agree only to the extent that in science, our controls are rigid because we can exercise a very good control. But in social sciences or where human beings are involved, you cannot have that type of control. I will agree with that. But it is not that in humanities the experimental researches cannot be conducted. You can conduct an experimental research, and there are different designs, and most of the designs which are applicable in pure sciences, they are called true experimental design, but which are applicable in social sciences, they are called the quasi experimental design. And in quasi-experimental designs, their intervening variables are controlled to a particular extent. That I agree. But to say that you cannot control, you can control. But the control is not to that rigor, not that rigorous as it is done in pure sciences. That is okay. But it's possible that you have to have a control group. And that is why in quasi experimental design, we cannot select people randomly. If you are conducting a research on teachers, you cannot select teachers randomly. If you are conducting a research on students, you cannot select students randomly. It's not possible. But you can take intact group. So when you are taking the intact group, that is why in experiment, you are taking one section from a particular school and another section from another school of the same class. So one you say is a experimental group, other is a control group. And these are non-equivalent group because there will be some initial differences, no doubt about it. But it does not mean that you cannot have a control group. You can have a control group, but this control cannot be very, very rigorous control as we do in science. Next question.
Sir, next question is what is the difference between ethnography and phenomenological research? What
Actually,
is the
these are nothing. I told you the survey researches are of three types. One is exploratory research, other is a descriptive research. Both these they come under descriptive research. They are not part of exploratory survey. They are not the part of correlational survey, but they are the part of descriptive survey. And there you have to be with that particular target group. Like if some of you have studied Piaget, what Piaget did? Piaget spent majority part of his life with the children. He used to sleep with them, play with them. He used to observe. That is participatory type of thing. So there also it has to be done like that only. That as a researcher, when you are studying a particular a specific tribe, a specific group, so for studying that, it is important that you have to be part and parcel of that particular group. And if you are not part and parcel, then you cannot study it. But it's not very easy. It's a very, very tough thing because lot of change the researcher has to bring in himself because he has to know the language of that particular group which he wants to study. He should be ready to spend larger part of his life with them and things of that variety. So this is a part of the survey only, and it's a descriptive survey. Go ahead. Next.
Sir, in this pandemic time, we are thinking and feeling that कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन से आगे कोई जहां ही नहीं है. मीन्स लोगों को लग रहा है कि ऑल एंड एवरीथिंग इज डिपेंड ऑन ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन. और इसके अगर हम ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन में एक्सपर्टीज नहीं हासिल करते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं हम टीचिंग स्ट्रीम से बाहर हो जाएंगे. आप इस बारे में क्या कहते हैं? आपके क्या विचार हैं? आपको ऐसा लगता है?
नहीं, say this is a stopgap arrangement. Dear friends, the face-to-face teaching can never, never, never be replaced by this technology webinar, which some of the schools they were having it, and now you must be reading in the newspaper that MHRD has come out with guideline that a student should not be engaged more than 1 hour or so. Now some of the schools were engaging the student for a longer time. It's very tough. And in India, this technology cannot benefit all the students. What Delhi University is thinking, Delhi University is thinking of taking online exam, and lot of resentment is there. And this resentment is not artificial, it is natural, because there are many students who are in the rural area and they do not have a connectivity. Then how will you like to have online exam? So this type of thing, yes, stopgap arrangement, all right, sometime it is okay, but it cannot replace face to face teaching. Face to face teaching has its own merits, which is not there in webinar or online. It's not there. Say some of the universities are now thinking of giving some online courses. My personal opinion is these courses may not be very useful to the people. Yes, these courses will help people to earn a degree, but earning degree should not be the ultimate aim, ultimate motto of any learner. It has to be that he should be able to develop some competencies, some skills, which cannot be there. It's very, very, very difficult. The same, this open schools, this are there, and the product, what is the quality of the product. I need not to say about all that. It's not very good. There are a lot of researches, and they have said that those students who pass out from the regular one, face to face teaching, and this correspondence is not the same. The face to face students are much better than those who pass out through the correspondence. Yes, that's there. So this is my response to this. So I don't think that, yes, for stopgap arrangement, it is all right. No problem. Any other one? Any question?
सर एक क्वेश्चन है कि कंपैरिजन स्टडी फॉल्स अंडर डिस्क्रिप्टिव और एनालिटिकल रिसर्च. प्रभावी
See,
कृष्णा.
हाँ वो ठीक है, जो भी कुछ पूछ रहा है. देखिए, when you want to compare by taking into cognizance only the qualitative information, it falls under qualitative research. But when you want to compare by taking quantitative information, it falls under quantitative. It all depends upon that what type of information you want to have for comparison purpose. So it can be pure qualitative, can be pure quantitative.
Sir, if significant difference is found in the mean score, is it correct to interpret this result by writing that this may be because on the basis of our observation why the significant is found between the mean scores?
No, I don't think I should not entertain such question, because it's not a part of my today's topic, because it involves some basic understanding of certain concepts, like what is level of significance, what is confidence interval, what is degree of freedom. So therefore, the person who is interested in knowing it, he has to wait.
We
He
will describe at other webinars or FDP program. It is a starting of series on research webinars. It is the first webinar. Actually, Vijay Jain is asking that कि philosophical research में data नहीं होता है, तो क्या हम उसको research paper नहीं बोलेंगे?
In philosophical research, there cannot be any research without data. Data means information. In philosophical research, you have information. So it is wrong to say that in philosophical researches you do not have data. In philosophical researches you have data, and data will be qualitative in nature. You cannot have quantitative, but qualitative information has to be there.
Yes.
Next question.
यस, एक्चुअली बिल्कुल एक रेयर क्वेश्चन आया है। इनका कहना है, ये अहमद स्टूडेंट है भुवनेश्वर से, और इन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट की है कि मेरा नाम आप ना लें। इन्होंने पूछा है कि एक तरफ तो हम कहते हैं कि रिसर्च टॉपिक के लिए ये हम अक्सर एक रिकमेंडेशन करते हैं कि जेन्युइन होना चाहिए, टॉपिक जेन्युइन होना चाहिए। हिंदी में हम अक्सर डिस्क्राइब करते हैं मौलिक होना चाहिए। लेकिन अगर वो इतना ही मौलिक होगा, इतना ही जेन्युइन होगा, तो उस पे हमें कोई भी रिव्यू लिटरेचर नहीं मिलता है। और जब रिव्यू लिटरेचर नहीं मिलता है तो बहुत ही प्रॉब्लम होती है। और दूसरी तरफ हम जब ये पूछते हैं कि आपको अपने रिसर्च का टॉपिक कहाँ से मिला, तो हमें ये कहा जाता है कि हमें ऑलवेज ये जवाब देना है कि हमने रिव्यू ऑफ रिसर्च किया, रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर किया, उसके बाद हमको ये टॉपिक मिला। तो हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल दैट?
इस क्वेश्चन को इनफैक्ट मैं अभी रिप्लाई कर सकता हूं, बट मैं नहीं करूंगा, क्योंकि अगर हमारी ये सीरीज कंटिन्यू रहेगी तो
जी
इसको जो है, जो सेकंड उसके अंदर लूंगा, हाउ टू सिलेक्ट द प्रॉब्लम. The
जी
type step is identification of problem. What is the difference between identification and selection? And if we have to do, how exactly it has to be done?
जी
And this will I will cover under sources of problem. So therefore, if it has to be answered, then I have to give lot of information before the person is able to understand. But dear friends, it is possible you may start doing a research related to a variable where no research has been conducted till now. Yes, it is possible. And this is very you can justify on the basis of review of related literature, and you say that there no research has been conducted, but researches of this type have been conducted. So it's possible, you can do that, no problem at all. Go ahead. Next
सर,
question.
एसओई इंदौर से भी एक पीएचडी स्कॉलर पूछना चाहती हैं। उनका कहना है कि कोरान गैव ए सैंपल साइज फार्मूला, बट वी डोंट यूज दैट ओकेजनली। हम उसको बिल्कुल भी यूज नहीं करते हैं, और कोई भी सैंपल साइज हम चूज कर लेते हैं जो हमें ठीक लगता है। हमें ठीक लगता है या हमारे गाइड को ठीक लगता है, हम एक सैंपल साइज को चूज कर लेते हैं और उस पर वर्क करने लगते हैं। हम इवन कोई से भी वेरिएबल्स भी चूज कर लेते हैं, जबकि कभी कभार हमें वेरिएबल्स के बीच में कोरिलेशन भी निकालना चाहिए। इनका ऐसा कहना है। तो इनका कहना है कि क्या पीएचडी रिसर्च के पहले हमें पायलट स्टडी भी करना चाहिए?
देखिए, इनके इस क्वेश्चन में 3 क्वेश्चन हैं,
जी
और ये तीनों क्वेश्चन का जो आज का टॉपिक है इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
जी
क्योंकि ये जो क्वेश्चंस हैं दे कैन बी आंसर्ड, इनको आप कह सकते हैं कि दे
आई
शुड
एम
कंटिन्यू
अंडरस्टैंडिंग।
दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोग्राम, एंड डेफिनेटली all these 3 questions answer the candidate will get.
आई एग्री विद यू।
These are not, there are many other burning questions which I will be raising. As today I have given 2 questions, next time maybe I will give more questions. So therefore, for the researchers, just to think what can be the answer, and then I think they will be able to improve the understanding of the research methodology. So right at the moment I am not answering, although I can answer it. Go ahead.
सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी वर्धा से एक रिसर्च स्कॉलर पूछ रहे हैं कि सर, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिसर्च एंड इनोवेशन?
Okay. See, research and innovation, these are 2 different things. Say, for example, in India, micro teaching was introduced somewhere in 1976 or so. No, at that time, it was not there anywhere in India. So this was an innovation. Right now, micro teaching cannot be called an innovation. So innovation means something which you are not many people are doing it. You are the only one who is doing it. Say, for example, in Indore, in the Department of Education, we started conducting the training in development of thinking and reasoning. Nowhere in India this was done. So this was an innovation. So innovation means some idea which is new one and not many people are using it. Maybe in some part of the country, someone few people are using, or quite possible you may be the only one. So that's what is called innovation. So models of teaching is another example. When they came to India, as far as India is concerned, innovation. But as far as other country, USA is concerned, it was not a innovation because they were using it. But in India, when micro teaching, when models of teaching they came, they were innovative. ICT, it was an innovation at one point of time. Now it's not at all an innovation. So innovation is something like this. What was another word? Innovation and
Innovation and research.
research. Research is where you have a problem, you know the problem, and you want to find its solution. So now the difference between the two.
Gopal Adhikari is asking that what is the basic difference, basic concept of factorial design with example. तो इनको भी वो तो मैं ही बोल देता हूँ कि हम आगे चल के देखेंगे और बिल्कुल डिटेल में हम देखेंगे. Shakti Srivastava is asking that please guide how many types of research papers.
How many
Shakti,
types of?
research papers.
Dear friends, although this is not a part of this today's lecture, but I can tell you. See, there are two words which we say. We say research paper and we say article. The research paper means you have collected data from the field, and on the basis of the data, you are now writing a paper. This is called a research paper. But if you have an idea and you expand that particular idea, and when you write that idea in the print form, then this becomes an article. So article means it's a novel idea, it's a unique idea with the person. As I'll give example, when I developed the jerk technology and I wrote a paper on it. Now this was an article, and here it was purely my concept, is purely my idea which was explained in that particular one. But I have conducted many researches where I collected that data from the field and I wrote a paper, and that paper was called a paper. Okay, so one is purely your own article, another is a research paper is based on some data collected. Article, it's your idea. That is the basic difference between the article, and majority of the people do not write articles. They write research paper because it is easy to collect the data from the field and analyze and then write it. Next question.
Sir, this question is related to off the track. One research student is asking that always research is done according to guide, not to student interest. Why, sir? Seema Date.
No, I disagree with her. Throughout my life, I have never imposed any problem on my student. I asked my student, you go find out yourself, then I help to reshape that particular thing. But to a larger extent, whatever this student is saying is correct, because majority of the teachers, they say, here is a problem, you work on it. That should not happen. No, this is
Sir,
not.
sir, little bit I will take the favor of my viewer कि थोड़ा सा कहीं ना कहीं एक क्या कहना चाहिए कि फेवरिस तो होता है। जैसे स्टूडेंट कुछ करना चाहता है, कोई मॉड्यूल डेवलप करना चाहता है या कैलकुलेशन की कुछ अलग डिफरेंट टेक्निक्स यूज करना चाहता है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा सा गाइड के इन्फ्लुएंस में आना तो पड़ता है। क्या आप इससे एग्री हैं?
लेट मी टेल यू वेरी क्लियरली कि स्टूडेंट को ये पता होना चाहिए कि वो किस तरह का रिसर्च करना चाहता है। अगर उसको एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च करना है तो उसको ऐसा गाइड ढूंढना पड़ेगा जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च करवाता है। अगर कोई आदमी फिलोसफी की रिसर्च करना चाहता है तो उसको ऐसा गाइड ढूंढना पड़ेगा जो फिलोसफी की रिसर्च करे। ये तो जो स्टूडेंट है, स्टूडेंट गाइड इस हिसाब से नहीं सिलेक्ट करता, अनफॉर्चुनेटली, जबकि करना चाहिए। एंड गाइड भी बहुत फ्रैंक होना चाहिए कि ये कहने के लिए कि भैया ये मेरा एरिया नहीं है, मैं आपको इसमें हेल्प नहीं कर पाऊंगा, आपको दूसरा गाइड। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
सर, मेरा अपना खुद का पीएचडी एसओई डीएवीवी से है, और आप लोग जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च की मशाल आप लोगों ने वहाँ पे अभी भी जला के छोड़ी थी, वो जल रही है। और अभी तक मैं जहाँ वर्क कर रहा था, आई एम फॉर्मर असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर एट आरआई भुवनेश्वर, वहाँ बिल्कुल क्वालिटेटिव माहौल है। कहीं ना कहीं हम पूरे देश में इन दोनों सराउंडिंग्स के बीच में जो हम सारे रिसर्चर हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं पिस जाते हैं सर। और ये क्वालिटेटिव वर्सेस क्वांटिटेटिव का जो सराउंडिंग है, क्वालिटेटिव वाले कहीं ना कहीं क्वांटिटेटिव वालों को बोलते हैं कि वहाँ ऑलवेज न्यूमेरिक फिगर्स हैं, वहाँ प्रॉब्लम्स ही खो जाती हैं। कहीं ना कहीं हम क्वालिटेटिव वालों को बोलते हैं कि वो बहुत सीरियसली काम नहीं करते हैं। तो मैं थोड़ा सा कहीं ना कहीं पर्सनली ये समझना चाह रहा हूँ कि दोनों में से कोई कमतर या ऊपर है या दोनों बराबर हैं, या मतलब आपकी क्या ओपिनियन है सर इस पर?
देखिए, मैं आपको बताऊं, ये केवल एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट की बात नहीं है
जी।
अगर आप साइंस में भी देखें, मैथमेटिक्स में भी देखें, तो वहां पे सम ऑफ द रिसर्चर आर थियोरेटिशियन एंड सम ऑफ द रिसर्चर आर एक्सपेरिमेंटलिस्ट। तो ये कहना कि थियोरेटिकल रिसर्च सबसे अच्छी होती है और एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च नीचे होती है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। रिसर्च इज रिसर्च। दोनों, आप चाहे एक्सपेरिमेंटल करें, चाहे आप सर्वे करें, चाहे आप फिलोसफी कोई भी कर लो, अगर आपने रिसर्च सिस्टमेटिक की है तो ऑल रिसर्च आर ऑफ द सेम स्टैंडर्ड। तब प्रॉब्लम आती है जब आपने वो सिस्टमेटिकली नहीं की। अदरवाइज ये कहना कि क्वालिटेटिव अच्छी है, क्वांटिटेटिव अच्छी है, ये बिल्कुल गलत है। अकॉर्डिंग टू मी, अगर कहीं पे ऐसा कोई वेरिएबल है कि उस पर क्वालिटेटिव ही होनी चाहिए तो आपको क्वालिटेटिव ही करना चाहिए, आप क्वांटिटेटिव कर ही नहीं सकते। तो देयरफॉर मैं तो इस बात से सहमत नहीं होता हूँ ये कि भाई ये अच्छा है, ये नो। हर तरह की रिसर्च की अपनी यूटिलिटी होती है, अपना उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है। वो बात अलग है कि किसी पॉइंट ऑफ, जैसे एट प्रेजेंट एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च का कंट्रीब्यूशन मैक्सिमम है, क्योंकि सारे लोग बात कोविड जो है इसकी वो निकालने की कोशिश, यहाँ हम सर्वे नहीं कर सकते। आप अगर सर्वे करने भी लगोगे तो उससे आपको इस प्रॉब्लम का सलूशन नहीं मिलेगा। आपको ये मिलेगा कि इस प्रॉब्लम को थोड़ा सा कम कैसे किया जाता है, जैसे आइसोलेशन है, ओके, इस तरह के ये है। बट अदरवाइज तो आप कोई भी रिसर्च कर लीजिए, डजंट मेक ए डिफरेंस, रिसर्च इज रिसर्च, अगर वो सिस्टमेटिकली कीजिए। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
सर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि ये भी हम इनको भी बोलेंगे कि आगे इन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं इंट्रा रेटर और इंटर रेटर रिलायबिलिटी के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, तो मैं ही इनको सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप हमारे सीरीज के दूसरे वेबिनार्स या एफडीपी ज्वाइन करें, और जब रिलायबिलिटी में हम आएंगे तो वहां आपको आपके सवालों का जवाब जरूर मिल जाएगा। और अगला क्वेश्चन मुझे आ रहा है कि ये भी रिलेटेड है जेन्युइन और मौलिक वाले रिसर्च से, कि हम ये क्यों ऑलवेज कहते हैं कि टाइम ऑफ द लैक ऑफ द टाइम, 10 साल पहले हो चुका था इस टॉपिक पे काम, या 5 साल पहले हो चुका था। न्यूटन ने अगर एडिशन ने अगर बल्ब का इन्वेंशन किया तो 1000 टाइम उसने ट्रायल एंड एरर किया, तो जो 1000वां उसका एक्सपेरिमेंट था उसी ने या उसी के द्वारा बल्ब का इन्वेंशन नहीं हुआ, कहीं ना कहीं फर्स्ट से लेके 999 एक्सपेरिमेंट्स जो हुए थे कहीं ना कहीं उनका भी अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन था। तो इनका कहना है कि अभी हम जो पूर्व में हो चुके शोधों के विषय को या टॉपिक को लेते हैं उसको बुरा क्यों माना जाता है, जबकि उससे तो एक कंसिस्टेंसी क्रिएट होती है।
लेट मी टेल यू
जी
कि जो लोग बाग इस तरह का विचार रखते हैं कि इस पे तो बहुत काम हुआ है,
जी
अगर बहुत काम हुआ है तो क्या आप इस स्टेज पे आए हैं कि आप जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं?
जी
आंसर इज नो। तो देयरफॉर जो लोग बाग इस तरह की बातें करते हैं, आई थिंक उनकी बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ रिसर्च इज नॉट अप टू द मार्क। उनको ये पता होना चाहिए कि जो कल रिसर्च हुई है उस पे अभी और भी रिसर्च की जा सकती हैं, because there are many variables which no researcher can have all in one's own research. There are large number of researches have been conducted on concept attainment model. And let me tell you, still many researches can be conducted, because when the researcher conducted the research by taking concept attainment model, they have not conducted this research in all subjects at all level. No, it is done only at some level by taking some concepts. So therefore still there is a utility of doing lot of researches on concept attainment model, although many researches have been done, but we have not reached the stage of generalization. And in social sciences, it is very, very, very difficult to reach to the stage of generalization. So therefore, I think those researchers, those guides, they should, I think, start thinking once again that whether they should allow the researcher to conduct the same research which has already been conducted by many people, but generalization is not possible. So therefore, I think we should allow. Actually, the whole problem is that there are many people who have not understood research methodology properly. So therefore, I will say that yes, we must allow the people to replicate some of the researches which have already been conducted. It is important. In science, we do replications. Otherwise, theorization is very difficult. Consistency will not come. That's my answer. Go ahead. Next question.
Next question is sir, what is difference between mix method and multi method? What is the difference between mix method and multi method?
I have not accepted the concept of mixed method. There is nothing like mixed method. There
Yeah.
is nothing like multi-method. When you are doing an experimental study, you cannot combine survey research. When you are doing an experimental study, you cannot do historical research. When you are doing experimental research, you cannot combine philosophical research. It's not possible. So therefore, whosoever is asking, I think must try to understand it in this particular perspective.
Yeah,
Next.
last days some people were asking to me कि माइग्रेंट लेबर पे हम एक मिक्स्ड मेथड रिसर्च करते हैं, ग्राउंडेड
Yeah.
थ्योरी यूज करते हैं, और एट लास्ट डेज कोविड एरा कुछ लोगों ने मुझे ऑफर किया था कि माइग्रेंट लेबर्स पर ग्राउंडेड थ्योरी लेकर कुछ डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं और मिक्स्ड मेथड। तो मेरी भी उनसे बहुत डिस्कशन हुआ था। मैंने उनको कहा कि मिक्स्ड मेथड बोल के कुछ भी होता ही नहीं है। इफ इट इज एक्सपेरिमेंटल देन इट इज एक्सपेरिमेंटल, इफ इट इज क्वालिटेटिव देन इट इज क्वालिटेटिव। तो आई एम एग्री विद यू कि कोहेन का जो ये बनाया हुआ क्वाइंड एक वर्ड है मिक्स्ड मेथड, आई एम नॉट एग्री, आई एम विद यू। अगला क्वेश्चन है सर कि इनका कहना है व्हाट इज मिक्स्ड मेथडोलॉजी। अगर मिक्स्ड रिसर्च नहीं होता है तो मिक्स मेथडोलॉजी हो सकता है?
अरे भाई, जब मिक्स्ड मेथोडोलॉजी नहीं होती इसलिए मिक्स्ड मेथड वो नहीं होता। मिक्स्ड
जी
मेथोडोलॉजी नहीं होती तो मिक्स्ड रिसर्च नहीं होती है।
जी
आई थिंक
सर।
लोग बाग
जी
कई बार लोग बाग इसलिए क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं क्योंकि उनको क्वेश्चन पूछना है।
जी
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
सर, it is the last question. Amita Sri Shani, she is asking that ki sir please answer that are these webinars carrying value, because nowadays very initiative measures several organizations have taken giving vast knowledge. Being researcher, I want to ask, will they be beneficial?
My dear friend, as you read books written by different writers, as you attend lectures by different people, and you know that some of the people, those who are competent, when they give the information, then you do feel that yes, this information is a reliable information. And sometimes when you listen to somebody else, so everything depends upon the person who is giving a webinar, who is giving the lecture. That is important. So to say all webinars are of useless, yeah, all webinars have the same value, I don't think so. Yes, some of the webinars, according to you, because they suit you, because they are within your understanding level, and you might be finding it quite interesting, and you may find that yes, these are okay. But to say all are, the answer is no. It's very, very difficult to say all webinars are useless or all webinars are very good. No, I don't agree with either this nor this. It depends upon the person, it depends upon the situation. So thank you
जी
very much.
सर, यहाँ मैं भी थोड़ा सा कंटिन्यू करना चाहूँगा। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कि सर सॉरी, मैं आपका वार्म वेलकम नहीं कर पाया। एक्चुअली मैं उस समय बारिश में था। यू नो वेरी वेल, आई एम द मोस्ट मैं बैकवर्ड चाइल्ड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। मैं उस समय रेनिंग का आनंद ले रहा था, ज्वाइन नहीं कर सका आपको। सर मैनी मैनी थैंक्स टू यू, यू हैव गिवन योर वैल्यूएबल टाइम। और इस वक्त में हम सब कहीं ना कहीं फेस कर रहे हैं ये क्वेश्चंस, सभी रेज कर रहे हैं कि यूजीसी इन वेबिनार्स को नहीं रिकॉग्निशन दे रहा है। तो अगर रिकॉग्निशन नहीं दे रहा है, सर्टिफिकेशन को नहीं मान रहा है, तो क्या कंटेंट की वैल्यू नहीं है, या हमारे सारे जो क्वेश्चंस का सलूशन यहाँ मिल रहा है क्या नहीं है। बहुत से लोग ये भी हमारे ऊपर ब्लेमिंग करते हैं कि हम कुछ रिटायर्ड लोगों को हायर करके उनको 2-4 हज़ार रुपए दे के अपने वेबिनार्स कराते हैं, और जो आयोजक हैं, ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं, कहीं ना कुछ अर्निंग करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो ये सारी चीजें पैरेलल पैरेलल चलती रहती हैं। हम सभी को ब्लेम करते हैं, जैसे आप भी अच्छी तरह जानते हैं कि इस वेबिनार के लिए हम आपको कुछ भी नहीं दे रहे हैं एक थैंक्स के सिवा। और जो भी हमें थोड़ा बहुत भी रेज हो रहा है, जो हमने फी रखी है, वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे टेक्निकल सपोर्ट को, या जो लोग कंटिन्यूअसली फॉर्म्स या रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म, फीडबैक फॉर्म या हमारे सर्टिफिकेट्स बनाएंगे, कहीं ना कहीं उन सब में हमारा एक्सपेंस होगा। तो ये मेरे ख्याल से सभी लोगों की अपनी अपनी ओपिनियन है, और सेम टाइम में एक ही चीज को लेके बहुत से लोग अपने अपने विचार को लेके आते हैं। बट बिफोर पैंडेमिक आई थिंक इट इज माय थिंकिंग दैट सर कि हम फाउंडेशंस में थे। वी हैव 900 कबीलाज इन इंडिया। हम कहीं ना कहीं वी हैड 900 कबीलाज। हमारे पास पैंडेमिक के पहले 900 कबीले थे। उनमें से कोई एक कबीला कहता था कि रिसर्च क्वेश्चन बनाना है, दूसरा कहता था कि रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव बनाना है। और पैंडेमिक ने इन सारी बाउंड्रीज को तोड़ दिया है, इन सारे बाउंडेशंस से हमें फ्री कर दिया है कि हम सब आप जैसे मैच्योर्ड पर्सन्स के साथ में हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं। एक अच्छे टीचर से हमें सबसे ज्यादा यही चीज मिलती है कि वो हमारा टाइम बहुत बचा लेता है। हमें 10 किताबें पढ़ने की बजाय अगर हम उनकी बातों को मान लेते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें पर्क बड़े इजीली मिल जाता है। तो सर, मैनी मैनी थैंक्स टू यू। आपने हमें अपना वैल्यूएबल टाइम दिया, और जल्दी ही हम आपको इस पोर्टल में, इस प्लेटफॉर्म में अगले वेबिनार या एफडीपी के लिए आमंत्रित करेंगे। तब तक के लिए थैंक यू, मैनी मैनी थैंक्स टू यू सर।
Thank you. So nice of you.
जी,
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye bye to all the viewers.
ओके।
I'm
आप सभी ऑडियंस का भी बहुत बहुत मैनी मैनी थैंक्स टू यू टू जॉइन अस। We will give you information for